Okay, so I wanted to just put this little video together quickly. So a few people have run into the old grey blocks issue and they're wondering about reverbs, delays with the quad Cortex. Doug Castro actually posted on his Instagram, I think, showing one of the ways that he might do this. And in particular, I guess what was of note there was that the Spring Reverb specifically doesn't use much DSP, so you can probably run as many of those as you would want, potentially. Also, it's worth knowing that some devices, I guess, take up more memory than others. So in terms of reverbs, let's just add them in and see what we can get. So the most intense, I think, is the modulated reverb. And you can only have one of those per path or per chunk of processing. So again, worth noting that these two lines are processed together and these two lines are processed together. So across both you can have a modulated reverb on both, but then you'd be stuck with spring or ambience after that, or ambience, however you want to say it. So let's just get rid of that one. Then cave, you could have one of those per line as well. Hall, I'm going to guess is going to be the same kind of deal. So cave, hall, modulated and room, I'm going to assume are all taking similar amounts of DSP or whatever you want to call it, room as well, reverb. So you've got these cave, hall, modulated and room. Those are your really intense reverbs. Your springs are less intense and the ambience is less intense. So when you're making choices about, oh, I want loads of reverb in this particular preset, maybe it's worth knowing that you could run pretty much as many springs as you'd like, but you're limited to a choice of one hall, cave, modulated, room or spring per line, if that makes sense. So if I put a modulated reverb on this line here and then run this line into the previous row or onto the second block of processing, then essentially I can have two of those in series. So you could potentially do this. So I'm treating these as two separate signal chains. So I've got this one here, which is running into row 3, and then this one's running into row 4. So I've got two modulated reverbs on here, as those are fairly intensive. So I've got that signal chain has two reverbs in it, and then maybe in this one we could have a tape delay here, and then on this row here we could also have a tape delay. I haven't set the output out of that. But you see, the thing is, now with these two here like this, I've basically exhausted the options with delay just by having a tape delay and the modulated reverb. So maybe we'll have to make a choice about changing that modulated reverb to something like a cave. And then does that give us some more options for delay? Nope. So this one will have to be a spring reverb then. And then we might be able to chuck in a delay. So then we can put in a tape delay. That's a bit strange. What can we have here? We could have a delay post. We could have a simple delay. One of them. So the tape delay takes the most DSP as well, so I'm going to maybe... So, choices that we need to make. So if we're using delays before the amp, I would make those generally a mono. So I'm guessing we'll be able to do a couple of those. Then post the amp, we can also use things like a tape delay, so I'll put that on one, but I'm imagining then we'll be out of options then, so we can then use a simple delay after. So two simple delays, one before and then another after, but I'm guessing then we won't be able to use any reverbs on here, so the reverbs I put down here instead, So if we use a cave, then if I make these both stereo, then group these together. So I'm going to treat this like a bus. Then anything that goes down onto this bottom thing here will have the modulated reverb, so I don't need to use two of them because there's no need. And similarly here, what I could do is set the split after the delay. What does that mean? Remove the last module added. Strange. Anyway. So now I've got that simple delay before the amps. On one side I got a tape delay. So what else? I could probably put another simple delay here. No. Can I put a reverb here? Simple delay, mono, tape delay. Let's just get rid of that. Can I put another reverb up here? Yes, I can now. So I think if I put the split here, then both of these will have that modulated reverb. Okay, and now what can I do down here? I could probably put a tape delay. So 2 modulated reverbs and a tape delay. What else can we do? Can we put another? No more stereo, so make this a simple delay, but still stereo. Then if I this mix split, just change one of these to a different amp so that hopefully get a stereo split. So I've got a simple delay before the amps. They're split in stereo and then going into a modulated reverb. Then on this second chain I've got a simple delay, which hopefully is preserving stereo, and a cave reverb. I could have Spring Reverbs there if I wanted to. Could I have another delay? I could have more mono delays if I wanted to here. But in terms of reverb and stuff like that, basically at the moment you're just going to have to be a bit selective of where you put them. So that's my conclusion. I think if you're going to use many delays, make sure anything you're putting before the amps is simple, and if you're putting them before the amps, maybe consider just using one and splitting before. So there's no point really in using a simple delay on both chains. If you're going to want to use 2 of the Posh reverbs together, you're going to need to put one up on this signal chain and then one down here and run them into one another. What else can we say? If you're not too bothered about the type of reverb, you can use many Spring Reverbs. That seems to be fairly fine to use. If you're looking for that kind of thing. But yeah, I think those are just some general tips. So mono delays if you're putting them before the amp, or if you're not bothered about stereo. And then Posh Reverbs, you'll need, if you want more than one needs to be up on this chain and one needs to be down on this chain. Hopefully that's sort of helpful to someone. Cheers.